Just before election. But I hope the science is one of the overall discussions concerning science
Drodzy Państwo, bardzo proszę o zajmowanie miejsc. Zaczynamy za chwileczkę. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. We are going to begin in a while. Dzień dobry Państwu. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Witam Państwa bardzo serdecznie na tym wyjątkowym wydarzeniu, otwarciu Narodowego Centrum Promieniowania Synchrotronowego SOLARIS. I would like to very warm, ladies and gentlemen, to this wonderful event, the opening ceremony of the National Synchrotron Radiation Centre in Kraków. Ja nazywam się, proszę Państwa, Wojciech Wocław i muszę Państwu się przyznać, że towarzyszą mi dwojakie uczucia, bo z jednej strony jestem szalenie dumny, a z drugiej strony bardzo zaniepokojony i zaraz się wytłumaczę Państwu dlaczego. Dumny jestem, bo jestem absolwentem tego uniwersytetu i kiedy obserwuję wszelkie nowe inicjatywy.
Proud to be at this opening because I've graduated from this university, and I'm also concerned because I'm curious what a graduate of public studies may say in such a place. So perhaps it's too risky for me, and I don't want to bore you with my introduction, so perhaps let us have a look at a short video.
Niezwykłe urządzenie, bowiem istnieje zaledwie kilkadziesiąt takich na świecie. Innowacyjne, gdyż dzięki bezprecedensowej współpracy z ośrodkiem synchronowym w Szwecji zostało zbudowane z wykorzystaniem najnowocześniejszej technologii. Multidyscyplinarne, dzięki czemu kilkanaście grup jednocześnie przez 24 godziny na dobę w różnych
Ladies and gentlemen, the video is not translated. Translation will be resumed after the video.
Narodowe Centrum Promieniowania Synchrotronowego.
Is a very bright light. It is up to 100 million times brighter than the light that comes from the surface of the sun. It is so bright that you are able to do experiments in a very short time, to measure things at a very short time scale, and to be extremely efficient in your measurements. In fact, SOLARIS has to operate 24 hours per day, 7 days per week. Its production of scientific result is outstanding.
Wszystko rozpoczyna się w tunelu 8 metrów pod ziemią. To tutaj znajduje się działo elektronowe, które produkuje i wystrzeliwuje elektrony. Dalej są one przyspieszane przez 50-metrowej długości akcelerator liniowy do prędkości bliskiej prędkości światła. Tak przygotowana porcja elektronów wprowadzana jest do synchrotronu o średnicy 30 i obwodzie 96 metrów. Elektrony naturalnie poruszają się po linii prostej, jednak ogromne pole magnetyczne wytwarzane przez 12 sześciotonowych elektromagnesów zakrzywia ich drogę. To właśnie w tym momencie powstaje pożądane promieniowanie synchrotronowe, które następnie kierowane jest do linii pomiarowych. Wyjątkowe właściwości tego promieniowania sprawiają, iż w synchrotronie możliwe jest jednoczesne prowadzenie badań w wielu, często odległych od siebie dziedzinach nauki.
Potencjał badań dostępnych dzięki synchrotronowi, dzięki promieniowaniu synchrotronowemu jest ogromny. Statystyki pokazują wzrost publikacji w wielu dziedzinach nauki dzięki dostępności promieniowania synchrotronowego.
Nie spodziewałbym się, że dzięki synchrotronowi my po miesiącu dostaniemy nieco ulepszony nowy produkt, bo to zamyka nasz horyzont do tego, co znamy. A chcielibyśmy, żeby to urządzenie pozwoliło nam otworzyć horyzont do rzeczy, których jeszcze nie znamy. Synchrotron daje nam szansę na realizację badań aplikacyjnych, które przekładać na nasze życie w sposób taki, którego na dzień dzisiejszy nie jesteśmy nawet w stanie przewidzieć.
SOLARIS represents for Poland a very big step in its research in material science and future technologies, and it is a great success.
Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to invite the host of this place, Professor Marek Stankiewicz, and now applause for Professor.
Dzień dobry Państwu.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor to welcome you to the SOLARIS Center on behalf of my whole team. I would like to welcome you very cordially, and now let me read a list of names of our distinguished guests. Secretary of State at the Ministry of Science and Higher Education, Minister Marek Ratajczak. Welcome to authorities of our city and the province, Wojewód Jerzy Miller.
Marszałka województwa małopolskiego.
Marszał of the Małopolskie Province, Marek Sowa. Chair of the Local Assembly, Urszula Nowogórska. Vice Chair of the Local Assembly, Kazimierz Barczyk. Ladies and gentlemen, because the list of guests is really long, my suggestion is that I will read all of them, all the names, and there will be final applause for the whole group of our distinguished guests. So now, the names are as follows. Member of the European Parliament, Róża Thun. MPs who confirmed their presence at our ceremony, Elżbieta Hinger, Andrzej Adamczyk, Jerzy Fedorowicz, Lidia Gądek, Jarosław Gowin, Józef Lasota, Jagna Marczułat-Walczak, Dorota Niedziela, Ireneusz Raś. I would like to welcome Senator of the Republic of Poland, Professor Stanisław Chodorowicz, representatives of consulates, namely Consul General of the Federal Republic of Germany, Werner Köhler, Consul General of Ukraine, Vitaly Maximenko, Honorary Consul of Sweden, Janusz Kal, Honorary Consul Agnieszka Kamińska of Malta, and our foreign guests, Director of the Consortium for Research Infrastructure for Central Europe, former Chair of the European Research Infrastructure Forum, Professor Karol Ricutto, the Chair of the Management of Lund University, Professor Jonas Hapström, representatives of the Lund University and Max IV Laboratory, representatives of foreign synchrotron centers, and I would like to welcome members of the SOLARIS committee, as well as representatives of various universities, research institutes, Professor Błocki, President of the Polish Academy of Skills, Professor Andrzej Białas, Vice Chair of the Polish Academy of Skills, Professor Andrzej Borowski, Secretary General of the Polish Academy of Skills, Professor Szczepan Biliński, Vice President of the Polish section of the Polish Academy of Sciences, Professor Barbara Bilińska, Director of the Institute of Nuclear Physics of the Polish Academy of Science, Professor Jerzabek, Director of the National Nuclear Centre, Professor Broch, President of the Polish Association of Synchrotron Radiation, Maciej Kozak, and members of the board of the association, the Chair of the Council of the Synchrotron Council, Professor Krulas, and representatives of institutions that make up the consortium. I would like to welcome the board of the Polish Association of Physics, rectors of the University of Science and Technology, Professor Słonka, Rector of Technical University in Kraków, Professor Furtak, Agriculture University, Professor Sady, Rector of the Humanistic and Natural Sciences University, Professor Jacek Semaniak. I would like to welcome representatives and presidents of Polish and foreign companies that have been involved in implementation of our project. Now it's the time to welcome the rector of the Jagiellonian University, Professor Wojciech Nowak, pro-rectors, members of the University Senate, deans, and all other representatives of the academic milieu from the Jagiellonian University. I would like to welcome all the rectors who used to head our university, Professor Franciszek Ziejka among them, and Karol Musioł, who unfortunately couldn't join us for today's ceremony. I guess that's the moment for the applause for all the invited guests.
Chciałbym jeszcze podziękować za wszystkie życzenia.
I'd like to say thank you for all congratulations and good wishes for from the whole academic milieu that were sent to me for our team, for the whole team who has implemented the SOLARIS project, from the Undersecretary of State at the Ministry of Infrastructure and Development, Iwona Bendel, from MEP, Professor Barbara Kudrycka, Director of the Institute of Chemistry and Nuclear Physics, Professor Chmielewski. Ladies and gentlemen, today I have received a letter from Prime Minister, and if I may, I would like to read it now.
Jak Państwo wiecie, Pani Premier zgodziła.
You know, Madam Prime Minister is the honorary patron of our ceremony. Unfortunately, she couldn't join us today, but it is my pleasure to read her letter to us. Your Magnificence, Director, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you very warmly for inviting me to the celebration and of opening of the SOLARIS Synchrotron Radiation Centre. Unfortunately, I could not join you on this important day due to other commitments, because always, I welcome information that testifies to development of research infrastructure of Polish universities. Yet, because the university in Kraków, Jagiellonian University, built the first synchrotron center in Poland, and I need to commend that because it is the first step in the new phase of development. I hope it will be a tool for further strengthening of the position of the university and a big step forward in development of Polish science and our cooperation with foreign partners. I am very glad that it is in Kraków that there was the right atmosphere to implement such a complex initiative that would be very difficult to implement without support from EU funds and without cooperation with our friends from Sweden. So I would like to say that this day is an additional incentive to take advantage of many opportunities that we have thanks to the new financial perspective for 2014-2020, which are focused on innovation and technological advancement. Wise management, ambition, knowledge, hard work were the foundations of the success that we are celebrating today. We are facing prospects that allow us to be very optimistic about the future. You can be proud of this amazing achievement. Congratulations. Many thanks to all the people who have contributed to implementation of this project of the SOLARIS Synchrotron Radiation Centre. Signed, Prime Minister Ewa Kopacz. Ladies and gentlemen, after all these letters of congratulations and praises, on my agenda it says that I should introduce the SOLARIS projects now. So if you excuse me, I'm a bit nervous, so it's a kind of stage fright. So I have to admit that I'm opening the synchrotron for the first time in my life. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the territory of the biggest research infrastructure that has been created in Poland since 1974, when the Maria reactor was built in Świerk near Warsaw, and the reactor near Warsaw has been in operation since then. There was no similar infrastructure since that time, and we are the infrastructure here, which is multidiscipline infrastructure. Behind this wall, there is the synchrotron, 96 meters of circumference, acceleration to the speed of light, and there are electrons emitting special light. It is special, as I've said. In the video, you could hear that it is a million times stronger than solar light. It is also special because it is the source of photons with a very wide range from infrared to X-rays, X-ray radiation. This special light has excellent properties. We may focus it on a sample with high precision, micrometers. No other source of light gives us similar opportunities for research. I can say that behind the wall there is a small sun on Earth. Today, we are not going to shed light from this source on you, but it is going to shed light on our samples, and it will make it possible for us to carry out research in many disciplines of science. Thanks to that, we can analyze various materials, check their surface, look into their structure and texture, doing it with utmost precision. In tested samples, we can address individual atoms of various elements and start various reactions. The spectrum of possible research is huge. It is covers chemistry, archaeology, history of art, physics, medicine. I could go on and on. There are also types of research in other centers of the world, which are connected more closely with industry. Despite such a big size of the synchrotron, we can think that it is a small torch, microscope, or a scalpel that can cut molecular binding and stimulate reactions that take place in the matter. The first synchrotron with diameter of several centimeters was built in 1945. The first stand for research using synchrotron radiation in synchrotron ultraviolet radiation university was created in 1961 in the United States, and the first pioneer research with synchrotron radiation were carried out by Professor Keith Codling, who is here in the room. Since then, there were 60 or 60 plus synchrotrons for generation of radiation, mostly in Western Europe, North America, and Far East countries. And these regions focus mostly on development of innovation or innovative economy and state-of-the-art technology. Sources of radiation since 1945 evolved tremendously in terms of technology, from very simple synchrotrons that could be placed on a table via equipment which are really big, until lasers with free electrons. In synchrotron centers, thousands of types of research are carried out, and results of such tests can be the basis for several hundred of publications and dozens of PhD theses per year. Availability of sources of such radiation gave new opportunities in many disciplines of research. There are examples for protein structure research, and in 2009 the Nobel Prize was granted for that. The potential of synchrotron radiation was soon noticed by Polish scientists, and for many years many colleagues in Polish centers carry out various types of research in various disciplines, and they were organized in synchrotron radiation centers abroad. Many of our colleagues are brought together in the Association of Synchrotron Radiation that has existed for 24 years, and the initiative of building synchrotron in Poland was unavoidable. Many years of our activities at various stages involved many colleagues. There were different concepts connected with transferring a synchrotron from abroad. In 2008, a consortium was created. It was called the Polish Synchrotron, with 36 universities, and they decided to build a new synchrotron radiation center. And now, today, we are here in SOLARIS, which is the implementation of many years of efforts and initiatives. So it is the right place to share my personal reflection with you. Why am I here today? Why have I decided to deal with building the SOLARIS Center? I have to go back to 1986, when for the first time I went to a synchrotron center in Dalsbury in the United Kingdom. I went there because I was a new member of the Keith Codling and Leszek Frasiński team, and we dealt with innovative research on fragmentation of molecules by synchrotron radiation. That's how my adventure with synchrotron started, because I've been involved in physics. I was fascinated by the potential I saw there. Now, I would like to say very briefly about implementation of the project and what challenges we had to face. The event of key importance, which was decisive for the project, was What happened in 2009? It was a brainstorming session that we organized in February 2009, and we knew that we had 25 million euro, so we needed a brainstorming session to come up with the proper idea for this budget. 15 million euro was allocated for the building, infrastructure, and all other costs, including costs connected with the staff. The total budget for the project amounted to 40 million euro. So the brainstorming session involved specialists from other synchrotron centers, from Trieste, from Berlin, Max Lab in Lund. During our meeting, there was a breakthrough where Professor Mikael Eriksson from Max Lab suggested technical guidelines for revolutionary synchrotron, which was approved for Lund to replace the previous synchrotrons and build a new Max 4 center. Mikael suggested a possibility of making this project available and building twin synchrotron at the same time in Lund and in Kraków. To fully appreciate this suggestion, we have to realize that synchrotrons are unique types of infrastructure. They are never identical. Constant development of technology and local constraints make every synchrotron different. There is no single producer of synchrotrons, like a company that would provide turnkey synchrotrons. So the suggestion of Mikael Eriksson was really attractive to us, and it opened new prospects for us, because we could see that in Kraków it is possible to build a synchrotron on a different scale with breakthrough technology of integrated electromagnets, generating light with excellent parameters. The decision was obvious, even though both sides realized that there were risks connected with introduction of a breakthrough revolutionary technology. So unprecedented cooperation was initiated between both universities in Lund and the Jagiellonian University, and in October 2009 it was formalized and a memorandum of understanding was signed. And it was focused on building twin synchrotrons, and there was a positive assessment of a feasibility studies, and in April 2010 there was an agreement between the Ministry of Science and Higher Education and the Jagiellonian University to implement the project called the National Centre for Electromagnetic Radiation for research purposes, Stage 1. The project is fully financed from EU structural funds, operational program, innovative economy for development of centers with high research potential. We started from scratch. In the place where we are at the moment, there were meadows under the project. We were to build the building, initial linear accelerator, synchrotron, and one experimental line. In May 2014, the building was ready. Within 1 year only, all the equipment was integrated, interconnected in one infrastructure, then tested and launched. In June, this June, we observed for the first time the emission of light. This breakthrough moment was celebrated also by our colleagues in Max 4. The revolutionary technology worked. Now, there is what we call conditioning, gradual increasing the number of circulating electrons. Today, after 5 years, we are really satisfied because we can open the SOLARIS, which is richer because it has another experimental line, thanks to new funds. The team, well, it was a special team that has implemented the project. Many of these people didn't know in the first place at the beginning what synchrotron was, and they didn't know what to use it for, so everyone had to learn really fast in real time. You have to remember it was the first synchrotron in Poland. it was absolutely necessary to employ at least one professional, experienced professional who will guide the construction of synchrotron. As director of the Jagiellonian University said back then, Professor Musiał said that in the past we invited architects from abroad to build cathedrals or palaces. Now we have to employ a specialist on synchrotron, and that is why how we found Professor Carlo Procchetta, who participated in similar projects in Electra and laser on free electrons in Trieste. Initially, there were a few people in the team. Some of them went to Max Lab to work together with Swedish colleagues. They learned and at the same time then participated in designing and solving problems connected with construction of the Swedish synchrotron. We started contacts with many synchrotrons from abroad. We always had precious advice and support. There was international advisory committee for this purpose, and it included experts from various centers. There was Professor Albin Grulich from the Swiss Center in Willigen, Professor Richard Walker and Richard Hayes from the United Kingdom, Amor Nagy from Soleil in France. They agreed to spend their own time and share their experiences with us during implementation of our project. New people joined our team. The project was a huge challenge, actually many challenges in every dimension, organizational, administrative, technical dimensions. The challenges were connected with erecting the installation of the synchrotron research line, as well as erecting the building and preparing the infrastructure, which was absolutely necessary for the right functioning of the whole equipment. We have a special equipment in this place. Then 4 meters further away underground, there are other elements of the equipment. It is 50 meters long, 8 tons of integrated electromagnetic devices, vacuum chambers, radio frequency systems, 2 experimental lines of highly complicated and state-of-the-art devices, thousands of control devices. So all of them are state-of-the-art devices, and we are very proud of them. All these devices had to be integrated, positioned with utmost precision. So we are in a special building with special parameters, isolation of vibrations, shielding against radiation, and special barium concrete was applied in the building. The building is equipped in highly advanced IT infrastructure. It was a huge challenge for our subcontractors and the SOLARIS team, whose members were responsible for defining parameters and specification of all the devices in the building and its infrastructure, and for launching the synchrotron. So very often we do not see how much administrative work had to be done, because there were hundreds of complex tenders, reports, obtaining funds, providing various services, organizing foreign trips. And I have to say that Michał Młynarczyk is a member of the team whose knowledge and experience was highly valuable, and thanks to him we could deal with many problems and difficulties in administrative matters. And I'm very glad that I can say that we have a magnificent 40-member team of members and 40-member team of experts. All these experts were tested in practice now, and you could see SOLARIS. It was presented in a nutshell very nicely in the video. I'm sure it is a special national multidiscipline infrastructure for research. Its mission is to provide to all the groups of researchers from Poland and abroad to provide access to state-of-the-art infrastructure. The SOLARIS is part of the Polish MAP road for research infrastructure. Its mission is that one of 6 projects from the same point. It is defined as the strategic Polish research infrastructure. The construction of SOLARIS proves our potential. I hope it paves the way for searching for locations of big pan-European research structures in Poland. We have finished the first stage of building the SOLARIS. Let me remind you that it was part of the initial name of the project. We have a great synchrotron that generates excellent light, that matches much bigger synchrotrons in the world. We are ready to start stage 2 of our project, building several experimental lines which will allow us to fully use SOLARIS. We are also ready for further development of the source by developing accelerator, linear accelerator. It will be possible to provide 24-hour work 7 days a week. The SOLARIS was named from a science fiction novel written by Stanisław Lem. Construction of synchrotron in Poland for some time seemed to be an idea from science fiction novel, and since today we are entering science reality or real science. Thank you very much.
Dziękuję bardzo. Pan profesor Marek.
Thank you very much, Professor Marek Stankiewicz. Professor, so there is some connection between literature and physics. Definitely so. Professor, let us invite our next guest to join us here on stage. I would like to ask Professor Wojciech Nowak, rector of the Jagiellonian University, to join us here on stage. Professors, ladies and gentlemen, yes, sometimes dreams do come true, and the reality testifies to it time and again. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome all of you very warmly on this very important day for the Polish science and the Polish academia. We do have a source of new light for the Polish researchers, and I'm very proud to have witnessed it, and I am very happy that the project has involved outstanding scientists from the Jagiellonian University, and that the project and the building has been erected right here at the campus of the Jagiellonian University in Kraków. This is a breakthrough project opening new prospects, new horizons for the Polish science, and I'm so happy that the employees of the Jagiellonian University have played an important part. And it all began a long time ago when the initiators of the project started wondering whether such a facility could be erected in Kraków. They were physicists from the Jagiellonian University in Kraków, and I will not be able to mention all of them, but Professor Stankiewicz, Professor Krules, Professor Tomala, Professor Gerlich were amongst them. They were their initiative was welcomed by many institutions of higher education as well as research facilities, and so their idea was understood also by the Ministry of Science and Higher Education, including Minister Barbara Kudrycka and Minister Professor Jerzy Szwed, as at that time they represented the ministry. I remember it was April 2010 when we signed the agreement between the ministry and the Jagiellonian University, and then everything happened very swiftly. And it was because the rectors of the university, including Professor Ziejka, Professor Musiał, who is not present today, and their teams, including Ms. Hulicka, including Chancellor Skarbek, well, all of them were very much in favor of the initiative and supported us all along the way. And this is why the project has been successful, because the initiators of the project managed to convince a lot of players, including the Marshal's office. In fact, the entire budget was spent from the Marshall offices budget for innovation, that is the EU structural funds. And there were hundreds of problems and obstacles on the way, and I'm sure some of you remember it very well, as the project has been a very extensive one. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the project is something brand new in Poland, and it testifies to some new quality of Polish research. Finally, when we applied for funds, we were successful. 36 consortia were affiliated with the project. We collaborated tightly with the Marshal's Office and with the Max IV laboratory in Lund. And so there was that approach and atmosphere of collaboration from the very beginning. And there were European experts involved in the project. And this is the first facility of the type in this part of Europe. And so Poland has managed to show its potential, both the academic one or scientific one and the organizational one. And I remember numerous meetings involving Polish companies being the subcontractors. And I have to say that the Polish companies were really very efficient working on the project. They have gained a lot of experience, and they have been involved in a very prestigious project. So it was a win-win situation. But first and foremost, we've collaborated tightly with Mr. Eriksson, Mr. Mortensen from the Max IV laboratory in Lund. So it was an international project, really gathering representatives from the entire Europe and representatives from different institutions in Poland. And I think this is something to be proud of. What awaits us is the second stage, and I'm sure the second stage will also be successful. And later on, we need to make sure that the facility is put to a good purpose. I'm sure synchrotron can also be used in the field of humanities, just referring to the joke made at the beginning of our meeting here. Thank you very much. Professor Marek Stankiewicz wishes to take the floor. Yes, thank you, dear Rector, for your kind words. And I have to say your words truly are rewarding to us. And now I'd like to ask Deputy Minister from the Ministry of Science and Higher Education, Mr. Marek Ratajczak, to take the floor. Professor, may I say just one more thing? I have to say I am absolutely in awe of your stamina, but there are stairs right there, so maybe let's just try to be on the safe side and use the stairs. Okay, thank you. Your Magnificence, professors, ladies and gentlemen, eminent guests from the world of science and politics, it is a great pleasure for me that on behalf of the Ministry of Science and Higher Education, I can congratulate you on the great success. It is a great success, it goes without saying, and this is one of the most important projects which has been underway over the recent couple of days. These days we keep discussing what we've managed to do in Poland and what we haven't, and I think it's really worth paying attention to the fact that over 30 billion Polish zlotys have been spent on different initiatives under the supervision of the Ministry of Science and Higher Education. So Polish science and Polish higher education has been changing rapidly, and for sure this is quite a different world than just a couple of years back. But infrastructure itself is not enough. If there are no human resources, if there are no people interested in what is still unknown and what is still to be explored, then we won't be successful. But I am absolutely convinced that here at the Polish Synchrotron Radiation Facility, there are enthusiasts ready to work very hard to develop the technology. And I would say this is a place where we see how science and the industry merge. And we also see it quite clearly that independently of the discipline, synchrotron can be part of the CERIC-ERIC network and can serve many different fields of science. We are also very much aware of the fact that science costs, and of course the element of genius and brilliant thinking is still important, but you do need a solid budget. So I am well aware of the fact that the state has to be responsible for the management of facilities such as the synchrotron radiation facility, and I am deeply convinced that it will be so. And finally, at the end, let me say the following. The project is very symbolical, and I think it's truly symbolic that we are here opening a state-of-the-art facility at the campus of the oldest university in Poland. So we managed to marry tradition with its continuous improvement and aspirations for perfection, with its old buildings full of old bricks, which sometimes need to be replaced with the new ones. But this is where science comes into play. Science which allows us to reveal what is yet unknown to us and lies ahead of us in the future. So I'm sure this is going to be a perfect marriage of tradition, which is very important for us here in Kraków, and a bold look into the future, broadening the horizons of our knowledge. I am deeply convinced that the synchrotron radiation facility will be something which will strengthen the place of Poland on the scientific map of the world, but it will also be very important for our social life, for our community life here in the region. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to ask the Marshal of the Małopolskie Province, Marek Sowa, to take the floor. Your Magnificence, dear Rector, professors, dear Voivod, ladies and gentlemen, it truly is an honor to be here with you today, as this is an important moment not only for the Jagiellonian University in Kraków, but for the entire country, and it has been repeated here today. We are opening something new today. We cannot exactly predict the results of research conducted here at the facility, and it's all very well. In the past, we've conducted research which was more or less predictable, but today we're initiating works on something which is not entirely predictable. We have completed a project which brings us many steps forward into the future. And what is most important, we've completed the project in collaboration with our international partners. It has always been important for us, and we've spoken about it openly, that we want to be a serious partner in international undertakings. This truly strengthens the position of Poland on the international map of research. And so, dear Rector, dear Director, and the entire research team, I would like to thank you very sincerely, and I would like to congratulate you on the project, which I do believe will bring about exceptional benefits to the region. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask the partner of the SOLARIS project from the Lund University to take the floor now, Jonas Hafström.
Well, just one correction. I'm not a professor. Not yet.
I wish you.
Vice Minister for Science and Higher Education, Marek Radczak. Rectors, ladies and gentlemen, and most of all, friends of scientific cooperation between Poland and Sweden. Today, SOLARIS, the first Polish synchrotron facility, is being inaugurated. A facility that is an exact replica of the 1.5 GeV ring at MAX 4 laboratory in Lund, Sweden. I think this is a very good example of a scientific collaboration and something Poland and Sweden can be proud of. Sweden assisted Poland to get world-class research instrument, and by doing so, MAX 4 laboratory got additional resources by training Polish scientists who are now running this new institute, a classic win-win situation. In 2008, structural funds were available that could be used for building a synchrotron, which for quite long had been on the Polish list of urgent research infrastructure investment. The Jagiellonian University organized, as Mark said before, a small workshop in Krakow in February 2009 with participants from facilities Elettra in Italy, Bessie in Germany, and MAX 4 laboratory, and then MAX Lab in Sweden. MAX 4 laboratory was represented by Professor Mikael Eriksson, who launched the idea, as you said before, that Poland could build a 1.5 GeV ring based on existing plans for MAX 4. Just a few months later, Jerzy Swed, Edvard Gerlich, and Marek Stankiewicz, now director of SOLARIS, from the Jagiellonian University, visited Lund, and the plans were discussed in detail. This led to a memorandum of understanding between our two universities, and eventually to a project proposal by the Jagiellonian University to build a synchrotron. A year later, in April 2010, an agreement was signed between the university and the Minister of Research and Education here in Poland on the construction. December the same year, a formal agreement was signed between the Jagiellonian University and Lund University for the mutual cooperation and sharing of ideas and designs related to the construction. The following years, staff from SOLARIS station in Lund worked together with staff at MAX 4 Lab designed the facilities for Krakow and Lund. We are deeply grateful for all the help you have given us. In May 2012, ground was broken for SOLARIS. Mr. Vice Minister, I'm very honored to be here today, and I'm very happy to be able to congratulate you on behalf of Lund University and on behalf of all your friends and colleagues at MAX 4 Laboratory to work brilliantly done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dziękujemy bardzo, panie profesorze.
Very much, Professor. And now, I'd like to ask the president of CEREC, Central European Research and Infrastructure Consortium, Carlo Rizzutto, to take the floor.
I also don't use the stair. You have to show that you are springy enough. Authorities and colleagues and staff, I think that I will say very few words. I am very proud that this facility is now up and running. Is a clear demonstration that collaboration at European level is a winner. And I think that is a first step on what can be done next. In the case of synchrotron radiation. This is the third facility that I have been involved in inaugurating. The first one was in Grenoble, the second one was in Trieste, and now is this one. But this one is unique. It's unique also because it's been really built by putting together the capabilities and the past experience of several other facilities. Now there is the next step, and this is the next step which we are now trying to build with the Central European Consortium for Research Infrastructures, CERIC, which was conceived a long time ago, in the 80s, in the end of the 80s, when in interacting with the Central European Initiative, we were feeling that something was going to change, and probably we could really move fast in bringing back Central Europe within Europe and connect it through science. Now, what is this next step? The next step is to integrate and collaborate also with other laboratories that are complementary to synchrotron radiation in material sciences, like neutron scattering, NMR, electron microscopy, ion spectroscopy, and so on. In this moment, we have Poland will be within 9 countries collaborating in integrating these facilities, which will be unique at world level. There is one way to integrate is to exchange resources, exchange values, without transferring money, which is, this is the approach that we have chosen. We are exchanging values. We are not going to exchange or contributions like in some other cases is strongly required. I think that the step that has been made between Lund and here has been the step that has demonstrated how you can win without exchanging money, but exchanging understanding and intelligence. So I wish you to move forward in this, and I think that this is the way forward. Thanks to you, and thanks to all.
Thank you very much. Proszę Państwa, zbliżamy się powoli.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are slowly drawing to a close, at least of the first part of the meeting. And now I'd like to ask a representative of the city of Kraków to read out a letter wrote by the mayor, Jacek Majchrowski.
Magnificencjo, rektorze.
Your Magnificence, Marshal, Voivod, Director. I would like to convey several words on behalf of Professor Jacek Majchrowski, who is extremely proud and glad that we are celebrating this special event. Mr. Mayor notices that today's celebration is very important not only for the academic milieu of Kraków, but the whole academic milieu in Poland. The opportunities generated by synchrotron allow us to develop very many disciplines of science in Poland, not only chemistry and physics, but also archaeology and history of art. So there will be many beneficiaries of the synchrotron activities, so we'll all benefit from them. There will be a wide-reaching influence of the synchrotron operations. Mr. Mayor would like to emphasize that a special group that will benefit from innovation of the project will be the whole community of Kraków, the whole society of Kraków. We are one of the leading centers, or the leading center in many disciplines, bringing together experts from various fields. Several months ago, Cyfronet, the digital center, was opened, and these are complementary projects to some extent. What is more, synchrotron will be another argument attracting young scientists and students to Kraków, thanks to innovations. All the time, the Jagiellonian University attracts such people. It's important from the point of view of Kraków authorities that there are certain prospects for young graduates. Namely, they will have an opportunity to work in the developing innovative environment. Let me say that the SOLARIS Synchrotron Radiation Centre is among the key projects financed by EU funds that strengthens our national potential in terms of research and development infrastructure, which also brings us closer to a special goal, which is building international competitiveness of our country in the national and international dimension. At the same time, it is a web project that in a very spectacular way strengthens the potential of the metropolis of Kraków and gives it special importance on the international arena. As Professor Stankiewicz said, we have been waiting for such projects for years. On behalf of Professor Jacek Majchrowski, the Mayor of Kraków, I wish you all the best and my congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and the last speech during our ceremony today, because now we are connecting with Sweden, and it will be Christoph Quittman, Director of the Synchrotron Radiation Centre from the Lund University in Sweden.
It is a pleasure to congratulate you to your inauguration of the new and first Polish synchrotron. This year is our model of the 1.5 GeV synchrotron ring that we developed in collaboration with you. We are very proud that you have come so far and are today inaugurating this machine, which will produce wonderful light for science in the future. We wish you all the best and good light.
Widzą, proszę Państwa.
They can see us. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the moment we've been waiting from the beginning of our meeting. A special opening, cutting the ribbon, perhaps I should say, even though it will be done in a little bit different manner. Our safety comes first, so several remarks now. Let us move towards the gallery, to the balconies surrounding this room. How should we do that? The first 3 rows will be guided by our hosts and hostesses. The first 3 rows will go in this direction, and people sitting more to the back will use the stairs. So, some of you are encouraged to go this way. You have to turn backwards, go to the gallery, and the other group just follow your hosts and hostesses, and in a minute I will appear upstairs to show you a special place where, let's say, the ribbon will be cut. It will be done in a more modern way, but let's go there.
Nie będzie tej tablicy. Wiemy to.
Zapraszam Państwa serdecznie. Proszę, drodzy Państwo.
Gentlemen, yes, let us go to the right place and gather there, and there will be a huge spectacle in a second.
Jeszcze chwileczkę. Proszę Państwa, i właśnie, słyszymy się już powoli. Mam jeszcze...
And gentlemen, we are actually in the right place. There are some people further away, and I would suggest you should come closer, because over there you won't see the animation properly. So I know there are many people on the balcony, but still it will be more convenient if you come closer. Director Wojciech Nowak says we can't see too much in this light. Yes, we can't see too much, but the lights will be off. Now it's on, so that you can see 4 people standing in front of special screens. These are Professor Wojciech Nowak, Professor Marek Stankiewicz, the host of the SOLARIS Center, Minister Marek Ratajczak, and Jonas Hafström from Sweden. The gentleman will open the center in an unusual way, because there will be no ceremonial cutting the ribbon, but they will be putting their hands on the screens. And that's how they launch some surprise, namely a special performance. Are you ready to do that?
A zatem przykładamy dłonie, panowie. Tak jest. 3, 2, 1.
2, 1.
Drodzy Państwo, tak jest. Wielkie brawa.
Ladies and gentlemen, huge applause. And now a very important announcement. We would like to invite you to a special toast. So please go downstairs. The chairs were removed. So there will be a glass of champagne waiting for you downstairs for our special toast. So we are all going downstairs. Yes, slowly and safely we are going downstairs to have a toast.
Drodzy Państwo, raz jeszcze zapraszam serdecznie do tego miejsca, w którym...
Gentlemen, let me invite you, all of you, downstairs. Please take the stairs, and we are meeting downstairs because we are going to have a special toast with a glass of champagne.
Drodzy Państwo, bardzo się cieszę, że wszyscy
Gentlemen, I am glad almost all of us are here. Together with Professor Marek Stankiewicz will appear on stage so that we can raise a special toast.
I hear you.
You got a hard hat.
Yes,
Nice.
you have to get across. Because yes,
teraz ja też złamię tę ceremonialną regułę wchodzenia po schodach, panie profesorze.
I'm not climbing the stairs either. All right, so professor, join me. There is a mic for you as well. Yes, please join me. I will hold the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Marek Stankiewicz is going to raise a special toast.
All Max Laboratory team come on the podium, please.
This is your team, sir. Maybe.
Zapraszamy, proszę państwa, na scenę zespół.
Please, people from Max Lab, could you please come forward and join us here?
Zapraszamy serdecznie.
Everybody from Max Lab, please come. It's only you who are brave enough. I know there is more of you.
Come on.
We would like to invite on a stage everyone from Max Lab right now. Please join us.
Okay. Now I would like to invite SOLARIS team on the podium, but maybe there is not enough room. I don't know how we arrange it, but...
To przynajmniej tutaj przed scenę, panie profesorze.
Please, in front of the stage, we would like to invite people from the SOLARIS Center team. Join us. If you can't come on stage, you can be standing in front of the stage. These are the people who stand behind the success of the center. These are the people who have built this place and they are going to work here. And I hope they will do things who will inspire poets, writers, if we are talking about this marriage between physics and literature. So, Professor, the floor is yours. You can see the whole team of SOLARIS. You can see our colleagues from the Max Lab in Lund on the screen. You can see the team of the whole Max Lab. They are watching us live, so we have to behave. Before I raise the toast for our cooperation and for the future of the SOLARIS Center, I would like to say thank you to all those who have been involved in this project, who have helped us, who have participated in the project. I would like to thank the authorities of the university, the current rector, the previous rector, Professor Musio and Professor Nowak. Rector Stanisław Histryn, who was delegated to take care of this difficult child of the university, a very demanding child that required a lot of efforts. Thank you for your support and help. I'm glad you helped us to take care of the magnificent future of the SOLARIS Center. My thanks go to a member of the International Advisory Committee that, as I've mentioned, there were many members of this committee. They spend their private time, their free time to share their experiences and give us good advice during this difficult time for us, because it is a highly demanding project. To all those who have been involved in our attempts to build the Polish synchrotron, there were many colleagues who tried to help us. There were many concepts, many ideas, and we have managed to come up with the final facility. But it is thanks to all these efforts, all the support, that we have managed to complete that. To the companies and teams from Poland and abroad, it was also a challenge for all the companies, both Polish and foreign companies, because, as I've said, we've erected a prototype device, which is a unique, actually, device, and many things were customized for us especially, which was a challenge for members of our team and for the participating companies. The company that has built this building is White Przem, it is the Polish company, and another company provided many vacuum equipment is Privac and FMRI from Berlin, a foreign company, Eleta from Trieste. Companies that integrated our devices or helped us on that. integration of the devices with the infrastructure of the building, ZSK from Kraków, Zapis, and PREK, as well as Pyczak. I'm mentioning all these names of the companies because we've tried to implement our contracts in such a way that Polish companies could be also involved, and we are glad that more than half of the budget of the project remains in our country. We are also satisfied with this fact. Finally, I would like to thank the families of the members of the teams, because I hope that the involvement of members of your families was not too disturbing for your family lives. In some cases, maybe it's, I hope, made your family life more attractive. Many thanks go to the whole team. What else can I say? From me, myself, personally, it was a great pleasure and a great satisfaction to work with you. I hope you can be proud of this work that you have completed. I'm sure you have participated in creating a new value and new quality for Poland. Let me raise the toast right now, and we are going to decorate our colleagues from Max Lab with signs saying SOLARIS. So let us raise the toast, and now let me skål to our Swedish colleagues. I hope it will be a special, happy and prominent place. Many thanks to all of you. I'm watching the stage now. If you turn left, you will see the corridor. Go to the end of the corridor, and at the end of the corridor there are refreshments. Now there will be a short break. Refreshments. Take the corridor to your left, and at the end of the corridor turn left again. Catering is waiting there. There are journalists in the room, so a bit of information. At 3 o'clock and 35 minutes there will be a press conference held here. So please be back in the room. Now I'm talking to the journalists. Please be back in this room at 3 o'clock. Many thanks to all of you for the meeting today. I would like to mention that media partners are Kraków TV, TVP Kraków, and a portal called Kopalnia Wiedzy. Thank you very much.